Hey guys, this week we are discussing food. I went to Chengdu 7 with a couple of the culinary instructors from Nash, and we're going to give you guys a little rundown about our experience. Guys, so the first thing on the menu is the boiled fish fillets with bean sprouts in hot chili oil. So we are currently eating, we're going to do a little taste testing and talk about it a little bit.
And you can see that the chili oil is really floating on top. They don't shy away from the chili oil. First of all, the chili oil carries a lot of spices. There is some spices that are fat soluble and some spices that are water soluble. Hot items like hot chili peppers, they release their capsaicin oil better in oil. Capsaicin oil in the chili peppers is an oil, and of course using oil it releases easier into that, and it's tasty. So we don't know what kind of fish they use. We were not kind of able to communicate that.
Yeah, all we knew was that they're yu, which means fish in Mandarin. So now we have warmed this back up in the kitchen. What is your take on the before and after the flavors settled together? And that's a Sichuan peppercorn, which we'll have a close up.
That is what I feel. And they use the green ones, which I happen to like a lot. The green Sichuan peppercorn has an herbal and floral taste to it. Like the first thing you're gonna get is gonna hit you right in the back of the throat because we have the red chili peppers there. The Sichuan peppercorn is used mostly because they believe that spicy food is healthy for you and it makes you lose weight.
Yeah,
correct?
it's supposed to cut weight. That's the story I'd always heard. And you were telling me there's a similar belief?
There's a similar belief in the Roman times, back in Emperor Augustus, that they will shower the food with black peppercorns because the spiciness and the capsaicin oil will help you deter hunger, and it will make you eat less.
That is so similar. Yeah,
very similar.
Belief.
So they put this Szechuan peppercorns to numb your mouth, so you can actually eat more spicy food.
And if you're curious what this tastes like, imagine it tastes kind of what dish detergent or laundry detergent smells like, in my opinion.
And there's two kinds of Szechuan peppercorns. There's the pink one and the green one. The pink one smells just like soap. I agree with him. The pepper one, the green one smells a little bit floral. So you have also, the fish has been cooked in the oil and the juices. They don't shy away from adding chilies in this dish. I mean, it's
kicked up a little bit since Sunday.
And it's been sitting there, so yes. This dish has been sitting there for 24 hours, and now that we reheat it, it's actually releasing more capsaicin oil into the oil that they use for the chili.
And I am tearing up a little bit.
And it's really good.
That's a good flavor too. So the next thing, we have the spicy intestine.
For those of you that are cringing already, you eat chitlings, it's okay. And for you to know also, intestines are what it's used to make Italian sausage and sausages. That cover on the outside, they're intestines. They're washed and cured, and they make sausages. So if you eat sausages, you're already eating intestines.
I did not know that, but I like the intestines anyway.
And see, people will cringe, but they're actually, these guys, they got deep fried and then stir fried. So it's actually a twice cooked intestine. So it's going to give it a nice crunchy texture. And then when they stir fried with a massive amount of chili peppers, it infuses that oil into the intestine. Let's try this.
That's a really good flavor.
And it's crispy and chewy. So if you don't like crispy and chewy, this is not the dish for you. But it has also, they use the leeks, and they used this kind of flour, which it's like the leaves of a plant that gives them also. Oh, I'm already going.
Yeah, this is going. This is going to be, I can feel it in the back of my throat right now.
But here's the thing.
I really liked this dish. This is something I had not had before.
It's heat with flavor. This is not something that is just going to tear your mouth away. It's going to be spicy and flavorful at the same time.
So this is definitely a new. It's going to be on my menu next time I go. Now the next dish we have is a classic favorite of mine called a Chedzi, which is an eggplant. They actually call this the Yuxiang in eggplant. So Yuxiang Chedzi And this is going to be different, and each province has their own take on the same dish. It's very similar to what I had in Nanchang and Sichuan when I was in Sichuan.
Of course, local cuisine, different regions, different spices, just like in Europe, here in the States. A burger in Miami is going to be different. A burger in New York, in California, in the Midwest. Everybody will add their own spin to it. And this is
the flavor has
so simple,
so much better now that it's that.
It's so simple, and it has a sweet, little bit of spicy, the saltiness from the soy sauce, the creaminess of the Japanese eggplant. And you obtain this by really stirring. Really high temperature. It sears the outside and it cooks the center. Woo!
This is one of my favorites, right here.
It's delicious.
A good take.
Oh my God! Hold on. Let me have another one more.
Yeah,
this is really good.
The extra little bit. Now, guys, in this dish, this is Gong Bao Jiding, which is
leftover
chicken. Yeah. There's also a little dan dan noodle mix in here for fun's sake, which we're going to talk about these separately.
Wow.
But Gong Bao chicken, as you may know it, is chicken with peanuts in it. But it is so different in America than it is in China, and that's something I really wanted you to because you're much better at that. What would you say the difference is between your stereotypical Food Lion next door neighbor Chinese restaurant versus Chengdu 7?
Here's the thing. In the Chinese American restaurant, they tend to use sugar a lot. They tend to thicken everything with cornstarch. But in this case, the peanuts are raw and the meat is seasoned really well. There's a balance of spices. There's a balance between sweet, sour, and salty, which is basically what the Asian culture, especially Chinese, they pride about it. A balance between all these flavors. Unfortunately, here in the States, it's a mixture of sugar, a highly sugar, bunch of soy sauce, and then they make it look right. God knows how.
Oh yeah, a lot of unneeded spices.
That is really good. And it's really good. It's spicy, not over spicy. They know exactly what kind of level of spiciness to give it. When you go to an original Chinese restaurant, they will ask you how spicy you want. If it is the first time you go,
a 1 every time.
Why
Do
1?
not go any past a 1 on your first time to a China restaurant. It is a different scale to America.
And the one we went, Chengdu 7, they're really accommodating. They're really knowledgeable. The staff is really helpful. And they will go the extra mile to help you choose the level of spiciness. They will also even show you the peppers before you eat there, so you can choose which pepper you want to have on your meat.
And speaking of that, we have some dan dan noodle now, which is kind of like spaghetti noodles mixed with some beef, but also spicy, and it has some other really good flavors in there.
You can feel the ginger. The ginger is present there, but not overpowering. Ginger, garlic, scallion. That's why we call it the GGS. It's the basics of most Asian cooking. The noodles are nice and chewy. They're egg noodles. It's almost like spaghetti noodles, but they work a little bit longer, and they add baking soda in the dough so the gluten can actually retract, so they become springy. It's different from your typical rice noodle that they have in China. They actually wheat and egg. For them, it's kind of like a luxury because they don't have a lot of wheat, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of wheat noodles. Mostly everything is rice noodle.
And it's really good. The meat is actually cooked to the point that it's tender. Yes, you can cook ground beef. If you just cook it for 5 minutes, it will still be really springy. This one is actually chews, and the flavors are, some of them are, I don't know what's in there because they use so many original things from China. And that's one of the trips I'd love to go.
Oh yeah. China is definitely some of the best food on the planet. And while we were discussing, we had 2 more dishes, and we had the first one was it's called chin chai, and chin chai is a vegetable.
That was so good.
Oh yeah, it just means green vegetable, but in this case it was made out of pea shoots, and so that is the vine that grows on a that you grow peas on.
Peas.
And they chop it up and they saute that with
very simple garlic. They use oil and garlic, and then they finish it with a little bit of sesame oil and a dash of soy sauce, but just a bit, just to enhance the flavor, not to shower it with soy sauce. One thing you will notice in all these dishes, they're not swimming in soy sauce. They're not swimming in a thick, sweet sauce like most American Chinese restaurants. And when you go to a real Chinese restaurant, they might have a little bit of soy sauce on the side for you. Don't start adding bucketfuls of soy sauce. Learn how to taste the flavor of it first. Then if you want to enhance the flavor, add some soy sauce, and it's added really, really, really in small doses.
And I'm going to tell you guys, do not put soy sauce on any food in a real Chinese restaurant, because soy sauce to Chinese people has to be cooked. What is a?
They don't like it raw on the food. That is an American thing.
Oh yeah.
The soy sauce, the chef will put it in the food to enhance the flavor. That's it. On the table, if you add it's almost an insult to the chef. You're telling him or her that they didn't do a good enough job seasoning, and you have to add more salt to it.
And so the last dish we had was tomatoes and eggs, and this is something I try to replicate all the time, but I cannot do it.
We'll try it here one day, but that dish was so simple and so amazing. 2 ingredients: eggs, tomatoes. The tomatoes were concassé, which means they removed the skin and the seeds, and they were stir fried at a really high temperature for a short time, really short and sweet. Add the eggs, a little bit of sugar, and they have to have put a little bit of soy sauce just to give it.
Yeah, just a little kick in
And
there.
when we're talking about a teaspoon for a big plate. Soy sauce in Chinese cooking is not used like it's used here in the States, bucketfuls. No, it's the seasoning to the ingredients.
So what was your overall takeoff, if you could explain to students what the main difference is between Chinese food from a Chinese American restaurant and Chinese food from a legitimate Chinese restaurant?
First of all, go into the restaurant with an open mind.
Oh yeah.
Second, they're not going to have your egg roll. They're not going to have your General Tso chicken. It's not the same menu of a Chinese American. Be ready for spiciness. Be ready for flavors that you have never tasted before. Herbal, a little bit of sour, very little sweet. There is no sweet. Like you go to those Chinese buffets and they had that bucket full of the pink sweet sauce that they put on everything. That's not real Chinese food. Be open-minded to try a bunch of new flavors that you have never experienced before.
Thank you very much. So
You're welcome,
we're
Chris.
going to finish up this food because I'm really hungry right now. And I hope y'all have a great week. You will be responding to a video, or this video, with some words. Feel free to go to your local Chinese restaurant and find something that you like there, or your local Japanese or Korean restaurant. In all actuality, guys, if everybody does Chinese food, because I know that's the easiest one to find, talk to your waiters, talk to the owners, find out what they think about it. Show some interest in this food, because I'm telling you, the food that you get is the tip of the iceberg in America compared to what you can really get out there in Asia.
Tip of the iceberg, absolutely.
Have a good one.